Following his encounter with Cell Prime, Kakamasu, the fusion of Kakarot and Zamasu, now finds himself with the Continuity Patrol. They each have a common goal in mind, not just preserving continuities, but also stopping Cell Prime. Cell Prime might have won that battle, but ultimately, he created a new enemy for himself, as he winds up in a brand new continuity as well. Today we begin in part 4 of Cell Prime. At the time, Ness Kakamasu get to see what it's like watching over different continuities, with Cronoa and Piccolo showing him what to do. It's strange, he's always wanted to do this, meet Cronoa and go up another level, but not like this. Of course, under different circumstances this would be much better. But he has a unique view here. He actually fought Cell Prime, so he knows a little bit more about him than the others do. So far they've struggled to catch him and haven't really seen him in action, at least not up close, so Kakamasu can offer a new perspective for them. Hit and Granola have been working on a way to actually try and trap Cell, which involves them manipulating time once they actually encounter him. Of course, now that they're part of the patrol, it's a little bit weird trying to manipulate time for them because they really shouldn't be messing with something like that. But what they're doing probably won't be too bad. They're not going to be creating a separate timeline or anything, they're just going to be stopping time and warping it around them. And it's a dire circumstance, so Cronoa says it's probably for the better. All the while, Cell arrives in his new continuity. But it's strange, this one seems oddly different than the others. He feels a weird presence throughout the entire universe that he's in. Usually when he's just in the void of space, he doesn't feel anything like this, but now he does. It's like he's not in a normal location. Not like he's in the void of space, it's almost like he's within someone's aura or something. Well, maybe it's just someone really strong not too far away. In the meantime, he wants to try practicing some new abilities. Hopefully he has a moment to chill. He starts meditating, trying to bring up all the data that the computer gave him. There's gotta be more techniques in there that he's not using, stuff that he doesn't know about, or stuff that he isn't taking advantage of. And as he looks through the memories of the computer that made him, he comes across one thing that's pretty interesting. A fight between Goku and Hit from his original continuity. Obviously he knew about Hit, but this part's strange. He didn't actually get to see Hit in person, at least not until now. It seems there was one point where Hit actually came to Universe 7 and fought Goku, and there's a ton of valuable data here. And this would also mean that the computer probably gathered DNA from Hit too, which means from the recordings, he could probably learn about Hit's time abilities. And from the DNA, he might have access to pure progress, which would make him grow even faster, but he didn't even realize that was part of him. Even without Hit's abilities, he could have figured out how to skip time regardless, but this is going to make it a whole lot easier. He copies it directly from what he remembers from the computer, and briefly, he's able to activate time skip, pretty easily in fact. He didn't realize this was even in there. Maybe he even used it before unintentionally and didn't even realize. But this is much better. He can make this go even farther, and not just time skip, he could probably find ways to warp time even beyond this, and with this different time control, maybe he could finally stop that glitching that he's experiencing. Of course, maybe the two are completely unrelated, but he won't know if he doesn't try. And at worst, this is an extra technique for him. At best, it helps him solve one of his big issues. But all the while, he feels that presence grow more and more. Well, it looks like he hasn't been detected yet though, so he goes to a nearby planet, then starting to realize where he is. It appears he's in Universe 11. He arrives on one of the planets and it's pretty densely populated, so it should be easy for him to blend in here. He just has to suppress his ki. And with more time to himself to practice his abilities and such, he also starts thinking of what other ways he could use his abilities. He remembers the other version of himself, the one from the other timeline in his continuity. The original Cell that we know of. He apparently did some sort of Cell games, so maybe this Cell should do that too. Have all the strongest warriors gather in one place and just fight him one-on-one. That would be perfect for him. But that would be a little bit tough to set up. Maybe he could try and overtake the world of Void somewhere, and figure out ways to transport people across continuities to fight him. But that's for later. For now, he'll just lay low. He continues meditating, but he could sense that presence again, getting closer and closer. And then it hits him. He finally realized who it is. He should have recognized it before. It was familiar. 3 familiar people show up, the Pride Troopers. Despite Cell trying to lay low, these 3 were obviously skilled enough to figure out where he was. It's Toppo, Dispo, and Jiren. Just like Cell, Jiren was able to pick out his presence amongst the trillions of life forms in this universe. It was pretty easy. They have no clue of who Cell is though, just that he clearly seems to be a threat. His presence alone is evil enough to sense that. Normally Jiren wouldn't even get involved with this, but considering how strong this guy seems to be, he's here just in case they need someone to end it quickly. And Cell says that's pretty big talk from Jiren. He knows Jiren's powerful, but by now, there's no way Jiren's even close to his level. Much less the other 2. But what he doesn't realize is he's not fighting the same people he thinks he is. Toppo goes in first to fight, easily being defeated by Cell without him even transforming. It's nice to have a more low-key battle for once. This is going to be a nice low-stakes test for his strength, and he won't even have to use his prime form. He can just mess with his different abilities here, probably even using time control and such. But something about this seems really off. Is this just a normal Universe 11, or is it something more? He fends off these 3 troopers and they show off their full power right after that. Now this is more like it. God of Destruction Toppo, full power Jiren, and light speed mode Dispo. Still, these people won't match him, but at least it'll make this a little bit more fun than it was. But as he faces them, he realizes that these people are stronger than the counterparts that he knows about from his continuity. They're actually doing pretty well against him. Of course, Cell's still holding back. But then he feels another strange presence, one that he doesn't actually know about. For some reason it feels a little familiar, but he can't quite put his finger on why. Another Pride Trooper launches onto the planet, with Jiren saying that he's glad he's here. The strongest Pride Trooper has finally showed up. Wait, isn't Jiren supposed to be the strongest, like, by far too? And Cell doesn't know who this guy is. He's never heard of him or seen him. Maybe it's a Pride Trooper from Universe 11 that he just never encountered and that no one else encountered either. Someone that wasn't worth mentioning, but then why is he the strongest? And as the man looks at Cell, he seems to be in disbelief, like he can recognize Cell and can't believe that he's seeing him right here. He even addresses Cell by name. How does someone from Universe 11 know about him? Unless they know about him hopping continuities, but that doesn't make sense. No, he says he's actually seen pictures of Cell as a kid. He actually isn't from Universe 11 originally. He was born in Universe 7, actually on Earth. When Cell first showed up, he was actually still alive, albeit very young, and Gohan told him a lot about Cell. Gohan, huh? He knows Gohan. What a small multiverse. Not that it really matters though. Cell Prime still thinks the other Cell's a fool for dying to Gohan of all people. So who's this clown supposed to be? He says his name is Azeer, and as he walks towards Cell he starts powering up even further. Cell's kinda taken aback by this because the power that's rising, there's a lot of it. And that familiar sense that he felt before, he feels it more and more. But how come he's never heard of this guy, especially if he's from Universe 7? Azeer explains to Cell. He has no clue why Cell's back in the first place or why he's in Universe 11 of all places. But it seems this Cell doesn't know about him. He assumes this Cell is still part Frieza, right? Well, in a way, Azeer is too. What, is he also genetically engineered from Frieza's DNA? Not that that would really matter. Frieza was unfortunately a weakling the last time Cell fought him. Azeer doesn't really know what to think of that though. Frieza's long dead. But it seems Cell still doesn't get it. He's not simply part Frieza. No, he's different. He's the reincarnation of Frieza. There's a powerful burst of energy. First with Azeer's hair flickering golden, and then becoming a jet black color. His face slightly changes too, and he has an increase in height as well. There's a reason they call him the strongest Pride Trooper. This is Azeer, the reincarnation of Frieza, now in his strongest form, his black form. Now at first Cell was just going to brush this off because it's the same form that Frieza used when he fought him not too long ago. But this guy seems to be on another level than that Frieza. Before Cell can even make a witty remark, Azeer attacks him with all his might, and actually does do some damage, with the rest of the Pride Troopers joining in. Ever since Azeer came to this universe to train, not only has he grown far stronger, but so have the Pride Troopers around him. He doesn't know who the Cell is, but if they don't find out, it doesn't really matter. He's an evildoer, and no matter what, they're gonna uphold justice. They all hit a pose on him as Cell regains his composure. Interesting. He's in a continuity where Frieza was reincarnated. He wouldn't have expected that, especially not him being here in this universe. Unfortunately for them, Cell's not at his full power. He showcases his prime form, and also tries to use his time skip as well. But as he skips through time, something catches him off guard. He thought no one would be able to attack him like this, but amidst the time skip, Jiren and Azeer are able to react, barely being able to avoid his attack. But someone acts even faster than him, Dispo, able to outpace Cell's time skip. So it looks like he has time controlling abilities. Of course for Azeer and Jiren, they're strong enough and fast enough to work around that. But all the Pride Troopers are stronger. And Dispo says no matter how much he controls time, that's light work for him. He's even faster than those two. Sure, he doesn't match them in strength, but in terms of speed, he's the fastest thing in reality now, having trained under his angel, honing his speed even further trying to get to their level. Cell wipes the blood from his mouth. Dispo actually got a good hit on him. He smiles. This universe might actually be pretty fun to play in. Topo launches a Hakai. Cell dodges it easily with Ultra Instinct. Then trying to attack him, he activates his time skip. First trying to eliminate Topo because he seems to be the slowest. But then Dispo tries to attack him. His attacks aren't too strong, but he does something strange. He uses some of Topo's energy. They're not stupid. Topo gave Dispo some of his energy. He now has the speed and power to fight Cell. And all the while, Jiren and Azeer are pulling their weight too. He's barely able to dodge Dispo's Hakai. He doesn't know if that would have done much damage anyways, but he doesn't even want to risk it. But as he dodges, he ends up being attacked by Azeer and Jiren simultaneously. Quickly, Cell activates both his red eyes. Trying to look for vital points, he's able to locate them, but with 4 of them fighting him at once, especially with their great synergy and teamwork, this might be a bit tougher than he expected. Azeer tells him it doesn't matter what he's using. Even if he tries to control time even further, this isn't the first time they had to fight someone that's using time control. He's actually fought against multiple people who warp time. Even in his own universe, they exist and break galactic law, and as Pride Troopers, they've had to take these criminals down before. Cell continues trying to warp time, improving his time skip each time he does so, trying to even completely stop time. But every time he does this, Dispo's able to trip him up, and in between the time skips and such, Topo, Jiren, and Azeer attack him. And even amidst the time warping, somehow Jiren's able to move a bit, and Azeer's able to move even more, attacking Cell at points too. Can he actually outpace that? He expected this guy to be a fraud because he's Frieza's reincarnation, but it seems it's better for Frieza's power to be reincarnated than in the original body. This is going to be real fun. Far away, on his planet, Belmont's watching all this happen. The troopers really are impressive. They've all gotten far stronger and even have surpassed him. He honestly didn't think Jiren could go any further, but all three of them have. Plus, that Azeer guy from Universe 7, he's pretty interesting too, especially with the fact that he's surpassed Jiren. But the fight's getting tougher and tougher, and then, Belmont has some visitors on his planet. He tells him he's in the middle of something important, but then he realizes who these four are and why they're here. 4 continuity patrollers: Kakarot, Hit, Granola, and Kakamasu. Kakarot still doesn't know what to think of this Kakamasu guy. It's really strange seeing himself from another reality fused with someone else, but he's probably going to see even weirder things as he continues this job. Amidst the battle, Cell's able to pull ahead, showing off more of his strength. These 4 are unable to use magic, and he's able to steal some of their power with that. First, he stops the most annoying one, Dispo. He summons Raibo and Gogi, who trap Dispo in a time cage and also bind his legs so he can't run anymore. Cell focuses on stealing power from Toppo and Jiren as he fights Azeer at the same time. Toppo's not too hard to take out next, and now Cell doesn't need to worry about Hakai's. They probably wouldn't have affected him anyways. But Azeer tells Cell no matter what, he's not going to let him hurt this reality. Cell blames them. They didn't need to attack him, he was just going to lay low here and not do anything. But they had to play hero. So, they brought this upon themselves. Azeer summons more power. His eyes flash purple for a second, and he says Toppo's not the only one who could use a Hakai, as Azeer launches his own full power Hakai. And not a fake one either, it's a real one. Even more potent than what Toppo had. The issue is this uses a lot of his power though. But they have no choice. Cell fires one back, and it overpowers Azeer's Hakai too. But it's good, because this preoccupies him, and it gives Jiren an opening to attack. The 2 Hakais explode, decimating the area they're in. It was a pretty fun battle, but Cell says now it's kind of boring. His hand glows vibrantly, charged with the key, as he pierces it right through Jiren, finishing him off with one attack. Toppo tries to launch one last desperate Hakai, but Cell simply grabs it, then splitting it in 2 and flinging it back at Dispo and Toppo, erasing both of them with Toppo's own attack. Azeer feels an immense rage watching this, his friends being mortally wounded, this planet being destroyed, 2 of his friends being erased completely. He's not going to accept it. He charges all of his power to launch it one more time, with one last attack. But right as he's about to connect his attack with Cell, Cell simply stretches a hand out, piercing it right through Azeer just like he did to Jiren. Cell actually chuckles a bit too. He wouldn't normally use a move like this, but Moro tried to use it against him, and it's pretty effective. Also, pretty brutal. He holds a hand out in front of Azeer, ready to eliminate him completely. But Cell's eyes widen, and quickly, he tries to teleport away. He smirks, and says goodbye to Azeer. A wormhole opens behind him as he goes to another continuity. 4 people then teleport in. Azeer's badly wounded, bleeding out, but he smiles. He sees one of his friends. It's Goku here. Kakamasu curses everything. They got here too late. He goes to heal Jiren, trying to bring him back. The other 2 were completely erased, so there's no hope. And Azeer calls Goku over to him. But it's not Goku. Kakarot gets kind of annoyed whenever someone calls him that name. He isn't Goku, and he still doesn't really know who Goku is. But he goes over to Azeer anyways, realizing that he's basically almost dead. Kakarot calls Kakamasu over to heal him, but Azeer says not to. He tells him to get away from here immediately. All he wanted to tell Goku is to avenge him. He could stop this. He knows his friend is going to be able to. He's glad he at least gets to see Goku one last time. And Kakarot doesn't really have the heart to tell him who he really is. But still, he promises Azeer, no matter what, he'll defeat Cell. But they could still heal him. Azeer doesn't have to die here. But Azeer knows it's already too late. And Granola gets a better look at him, looking at his vitals. He tells everyone they need to go now. Even if Kakamasu heals him, it doesn't matter. Azeer starts glowing. Cell turned him into a bomb. One last parting gift for the continuity patrol. Kakarot drops him out of his arms, apologizing. They don't even have time to save the planet or try to teleport him away, because they don't know where to teleport him to, especially with the strength of the explosion. They get out of there just in the nick of time, but Azeer explodes. And Cell put more than enough power to not just eliminate this planet, but the entire galaxy around them. No, it's expanding even beyond that, with a simple bomb, just by infusing Azeer with his own ki when he attacked him. He did this. Granola and Hit even try to stop time, but even so, the best they'd be able to do is just move Azeer somewhere else. The ki bomb is still going to explode regardless. They warp back to the time nest. Once again, they were too late. They couldn't save that timeline. And it's not just that timeline either. Cell's probably going to go to the other timeline that he split off. Maybe try to eliminate the entire continuity. Kakamasu's angered at himself. But Kakarot feels an even weirder sense of anger. Despite not knowing who Azeer is, holding Azeer in his arms as he died, and being mistaken for this Goku guy, he feels a connection to Azeer. And he did make a promise to him after all. But he controls his rage and calms down. If Cell's going to the adjacent timeline, they'll just chase him. If they work quick enough, they might be able to finally encounter him. Waste no more time. Kakamasu opens a portal quickly, with Kakarot making a promise to the others too. It was Azeer's dying wish that they'd avenge him. And you know, Kakarot has a good feeling about this. He's fired up. That was just what he needed. As they enter their own portal, this is where we leave off for now. What'd you think about this part and what might happen next? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really does help out the channel and lets me know you want to see more of this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.